Okay, so just hit record. So today we're going to be talking about calorie banking and meal prepping. I thought this was a really good topic for this time of year because what it can do is massively help you through December to stay on track. So this is for you if, sorry, I'm sitting down today, so it's always so much harder. I always find it so much harder to talk and do these workshops when I'm sitting down. But bear with. So this is for you if you are finding that December is already getting a little bit testing and you're needing to use every bit of your discipline to stay focused and to stay alert, to stay on track, essentially. You've got lots of events lined up, perhaps, and you're starting to panic a little bit about the calories that you're eating. Perhaps you feel like your reins are getting a little bit too loose and you keep just falling off track that little bit and you're finding it hard to get back on track. Perhaps you want something that's simple and easy to stick to, and you want to just go out and enjoy your social life, but also stay on track. You kind of want a bit of everything. So this is for you. And if you want to feel more in control of what you're eating and the foods that you are consuming, then this is perfect. So let's talk a little bit more about what we're going to cover. So today we're going to cover what calorie banking actually is, because I know a couple of you are newer and we haven't necessarily spoken that much in depth about it. What meal prepping really means, the problem and the strategies that both calorie banking and meal prepping can solve. We're also going to run through a little bit about the exact steps on how you can implement them into your week and you can start working with the meal prepping and the calorie counting and the calorie banking so you can stay on track during December. So let's dive straight in. So calorie banking, I know a few of you know about calorie banking and you're already using it, but for those of you that don't, it's a really, really good tool that you can use to help you stay on track. So what it is essentially, we know that if you're looking to lose weight, you need to be in a calorie deficit, which essentially means the calorie input is less than your calorie expenditure. So we typically look at it as a daily calorie intake. But what we can do is look at it over a 7-day week, so a longer period of time. So if we take the total weekly calories, which would essentially be 7 days times, let's say it's 1,800. That's your total weekly calorie target. We can start by shifting some of the daily calories from your lower demand days to days where you need that extra little bit of flexibility with your calories. So the way you want to look at it is a bit like budgeting. So when it comes to money, if there's something you particularly want, you might want to save up over a period of time. And once you've saved that amount of money, you then go and spend it on, say, the item of clothing or whatever it is you're looking to buy. It's a similar concept with your calories. So you can bank up a few calories during the week and then you can spend them on something maybe a little bit nicer, maybe more treat foods come the weekend or for a special event or something during the week. What it isn't is it's not starving yourself during the week to binge at the weekend. That's not what calorie banking is. And I'll delve into that a little bit more now. So why does calorie banking work? So essentially, your body responds to a weekly calorie total. And the way it works, why it works so well, is because it's essentially reducing your all or nothing mindset, which we typically have when it comes to calories, especially in December as well. Calorie banking gives you that little bit more control over the foods that you're consuming, when you're consuming them, the quantities, and it reduces the panic during like meals out because I often get um people coming to me saying, "Oh, I'm going out to dinner here and I don't know what to order off the menu." Whereas if you're banking up your calories, it just gives you that little bit more flexibility to eat the things that you like because ultimately life is there to be enjoyed, right? We don't always want to feel so restricted. So calorie banking essentially takes away that I've ruined it, so I may as well keep going and just spiraling out of control. It takes away that element and it enables you to enjoy your food and drink that little bit more. without having the mindset of, oh, I'm on a diet, I've got to stick to my calories. And especially now, being December, going into the new year, there's Christmas drinks, Christmas dinners, events, you've got everything, desserts. Every aisle you walk down in a supermarket, there's chocolate at the end. And ultimately, it happens one time a year, right? And in my opinion, you've got to enjoy this stuff because it's nice, it's a real treat. It's just about managing how we manage our what we're consuming and to help us stay on track. So let's put it into practice. What does it mean when it comes to calorie banking? So we've got a few different options, and you can make this and interpret it in your own way, based on your calorie deficit. So your calorie deficit is the amount of calories that you need to be eating per day to help you on your weight loss journey. So let's say typically for sustainable weight loss, I would always recommend taking your daily maintenance calories and reducing that by 300 to 500 calories per day. No more than 500 on a day-to-day basis, typically. But what you would want to do is, let's say, um, option one, you have one big event over a 7 day period. Let's say you're going out on a Sunday and you're going to go for a roast dinner, you're going to have a few drinks with some friends, it's someone's birthday or it's a Christmas event. What you can do is stay on track really well for those 6 days in the lead up. And then on that end day, on the big day at the end, you've got more calories to spend. So Monday to Saturday, you might look at eating 1,600 calories, whereas on Sunday, you'd have 2,300 calories left over. So that gives you the flexibility to eat and drink what you want. Another option you might look at doing is, let's say you have an event in the middle of the week. So Monday to Wednesday, you reduce your calories. Let's say to be in your calorie deficit, you need to be up, say 1,700, 1,800. You reduce your calories to around 1,550 Monday to Wednesday. So you're a bit stricter on Monday to Wednesday. And also sometimes you might find that it's also easier when you're in a routine of being at work. It's so much easier to stay on track, because you've got that routine. So those are like your lower demand days. So reducing your calories down there. On Thursday, let's say Thursday's the event, you've got 2,400 calories to eat or drink. And then on Friday, perhaps Friday, you're feeling a little bit more, let's say you feel a little bit hungover or you want to reach for something else. You can have that flexibility of eating, say, 1,700 calories for the Friday through to Sunday. So you've got that element of being strict up until the Thursday, having a little bit extra on Thursday, dropping it back down, and on Friday and Saturday, Friday through to Sunday, still having a good amount of calories to play with. And then like option three, so say you want a weekend buffer, you want to be really strict Monday to Friday, because we typically see that the rains come off around Thursday, Friday, and then the weekend. If the rains come off on Thursday, Friday, typically people tend to have that fuck it button on the Saturday, Sunday. So if you are one of those people, then we can almost account for that. We can look at how we can make your calorie intake through the week work for you. So let's say Monday to Friday, you stick to a very structured 1,600 calories, which is enough to fuel your day, enough to fuel your workouts, enough for you to feel energized and still feel good. But then on the Saturday and Saturday you have a little bit more, maybe you've got 2,100 calories. And then on Sunday you drop it down a little bit, but you've still got a lot to play with, to say 1,800. So there are lots of different ways that you can work out how many calories you should be eating on different days. If you are, I think most of you've got your calories, most of you already got your calories anyhow. But if you want to update review your maintenance calories and also your calorie deficit that you're in, we can talk about that individually because it will be different for everybody. So the key rules when it comes to calorie banking is never drop your calories below 1,400 calories per day. Like, again, it's different for everyone because everyone's deficit is going to be different based on your height, your weight, your activity levels. But as a rule of thumb, typically 1,400 is probably the lowest that you want to go per day. I wouldn't go much lower than that because After that, your metabolism might start slowing down and you're not fueling your body in the right way. So you won't maximize your workouts, you won't maximize the results that you're seeing in the gym when you're doing your exercise. So I'd say 1,400 is probably the lowest. Um, what you want to be doing through the week, you want to be taking out, if you're going into calorie banking, taking out, say, 1 to 200 calories per day. So, like little nudges, not extremely cutting things, not being like, right, today I'm going to take out 400 calories from that day. You want to just be taking a little bit out from each day, no extreme cuts. I would always personally recommend that I'm using Monday to Friday as the 7 day week. But if your event is, like, say, in the middle of the week, I would probably recommend you reducing your calories for the days leading up until your event, because that way you've got more you've got more determination to stick to your calorie deficit, because you've got a goal essentially, and you've got to build up to that. So you're more inclined to stay on track. On the days that throughout whatever the day is, when you're in a calorie deficit, you need to be ensuring that your protein is staying high. Again, that's different based on what your goal is. But you need to make sure your protein is staying high. You're keeping lots of vegetables, fruit and veg in your diet as well. And you need to be making sure that your hydration is also staying high as well. So you're drinking plenty of fluids. Um, and the aim of the game of doing this really is your calorie banking, because it enables you to eat the calories guilt-free. Like, you don't need to worry about it. And I think as long as you are doing that, like you're going in and you're having a nice time and you're eating and drinking what you want and enjoying it, like that's the most important thing. You don't need to feel bad for eating all these foods, because as I say, like, it's there to be enjoyed. Like, the food and life is there to be enjoyed. And I never want people thinking, oh, I'm on a strict diet, I can't enjoy what I'm eating, can't enjoy that. Because I love food and I know it's a big part of enjoying life. Um, Another key thing to staying on track over December and the festive period and throughout the year, but more so as well in December, is meal prepping. When people hear the word meal prepping, they typically think it's like, right, we've got 12 Tupperware pots, they're all going to be lined up. You're going to have salad, cucumber, tomato in every single one, and you might have like a dollop of chicken, or it doesn't have to be so military. That's not necessarily what meal prepping means. It doesn't mean you need to be eating the same boring meal every day. You don't have to spend hours batch cooking. You don't need to do any of that. Essentially, meal prepping is just providing yourself with nutritious options for meals that are an easier go-to than having a takeaway. So it removes away the decision fatigue of, oh, what should I have? Because typically it's in those moments that we tend to pick or reach for foods that are probably not quite as healthy and as good for us as ones that we might have already prepared. So if you are meal prepping, you can also, it also enables you to have like your default meals where they're going to have your protein, they're going to be able to hit your protein goals, they're going to have a well-rounded, nutritious meal. And it means that you're naturally building in an autopilot to make yourself healthy or to make sure you're staying on track. So it's like a healthy autopilot into your week. And it makes you making those good choices a lot easier, because it's just a matter of if you've got pre-made food that's there for you, easy to reach, go-to options, quick, then it's a no-brainer that you're naturally going to reach for it. So there's lots of different types. So there's a few different types of meal prep. So you can do ingredient prepping. It doesn't always have to be like a full meal that you are making. You can also do it as like you can do it as an ingredient prep. So chopping up your vegetables, pre-chopping your vegetables, maybe pre-cooking your protein. Perhaps you've like pre-boiled your pasta or your rice. So you've got those easy elements of food to go to. So when it comes to actually making your meals, it's so much quicker. And again, that's going to also, because sometimes when you think about making a meal, I don't know about you, but it gets to the end of the day and I'm like, oh, I've got to do shopping, I've got to do this, that, and the other. Whereas if it's all ready for you to just chuck into a pan and make, it makes it that much easier and that much more enjoyable to make good, healthy food. Another option as well is like meal prepping. So prepping like say just your lunches or just your breakfast 3 to 4 days a week. You don't have to meal prep every single day. You don't have it doesn't have to be that military. It can be super simple of just saying like overnight, you're going to make overnight oats for Monday to Thursday, or perhaps you want to make overnight oats for let's say Friday through to Sunday, because they're typically the days that you might fall off track and have a pastry. It it's about making little elements of your week that much easier to navigate through food so you stay on track. Perhaps for lunches, for me personally, my lunch, I pretty much eat the same thing each day for lunch because it's easy. And for me, simple food makes it easier for me to stay on track. So I'll probably have a salad most days for lunch. What maybe the protein might change, might vary a little bit, but not too drastically. So I will often chop myself up a load of tomatoes, chop myself up a load of cucumber, and some like other salady bits, and then just have that readily available for me to pour into some salad leaves so that it's really easy and quick. And it might be that I might have like some form of cold pasta in the fridge that I can reach and pop it on, or like having easy elements of food that you can just put together to make food quickly. Another option you can do is like the full meal prep. So batch cooking 2 to 3 meals at a time. Perhaps you can even, and then like having your go-to meals, then being able to rotate them each week. So having similar meals each week. I know we all kind of have that anyhow, but having things that you can pre-cook, perhaps you can even freeze them in portions so that all you've got to do is chuck it in the oven and you know exactly what you're eating, then when it comes to one, logging your calories, it makes it a lot easier to stay on top of. But also, again, you've got those homemade frozen meals that are nutritious, hit your protein goals, and are just easy go-to takeaway decision fatigue. And as a bonus, you don't have to cook in the evening. If you're like me, that is not what I enjoy doing. I don't enjoy cooking in the evening. Um, so, and then you've also got your convenience prep. So don't shy away. You don't need to shy away from like pre-chopped vegetables in the supermarket. Yes, it might be a bit lazy, but do you know what? Ultimately, it doesn't matter. If it's something that is going to make you healthy and make you stay on track, I've got to plug my laptop in. Um, then don't shy away from it. Go for it. Like there's no reason why you can't buy a pre-chopped veg if it's going to make your life easier and it's going to make you stay on track. Even like bags of salads or like pre-cooked proteins that you can just take in for your lunch, like a packet of pre-cooked chicken or buying it out. Prawns. Today, like, love it or hate it. Some people absolutely hate that I do this, but I'll just go and buy a packet of prawns, open them up and eat them, like, because it's just so easy. It's convenient, it's healthy, and it means that I'm hitting my protein goals and it's no effort at all. And for me, I like no effort food, really super easy, simple food. And failing all of that, if you're struggling to meal prep, to stay on track with your food, you're busy, particularly this time of year where lots of jobs get super busy, buy pre-made healthy meals. Like there's a company called Thrive and they're a meal prep company and you can just buy them, put them in the freezer, you can put them in the microwave, put them in the oven to heat them up. And you've literally hit your meals, healthy meals in one go with doing hardly anything. Sometimes, yeah, it might cost a little bit more, but ultimately you don't have to do all of this stuff forever. If you're on a weight loss journey and you've got a goal that you want to reach, you don't have to be in a deficit forever. This is just a period of time that you're in where you need to lose weight or you want to lose weight. So it's about making your life simpler so you can reach your goal quicker and more efficiently. Um, so we've covered calorie count, calorie banking, we've covered meal prep. And so with those two together, if you can strategically plan your week around your food, it makes you staying on track so much, makes it so much simpler. You're going to reach your goal quicker. Um, by calorie banking, it creates like it creates space for you to have that element of flexibility through your week. Whereas the meal prep controls the rest of it. So you meal prepping and calorie banking kind of go hand to hand because it helps you stay in your deficit. It's going to remove away the stress and the panic of, oh, what should I eat? When should I eat? It takes away the decision fatigue and it takes away that last minute of chaos of in your mind of, oh, what should I have? Because they're often the times where we do tend to fall off track. So, a little action point here that I want you guys to give a go, give a try. Um, so I've got 6 steps. Step one, this week, I'd like you to try this, or whether you start today, whether you start on Monday. I always recommend start and just and crack on. Like there is no point in waiting for Monday because why not start in the middle of the week? There is no reason not to. So step one, I want you to pick your higher calorie days this week. Say you've got an event on I know I'm going out on Saturday. So perhaps for me, that would be my higher calorie days because I'm going to be eating out. I'm probably going to have a few drinks. It's a Christmas event, so I would probably want to have that little bit more flexibility then. So that would be my higher calorie day. So what I would then do is drop, step two is to drop 100 to 200 calories on the other 3 to 6 days during the week. That gives me the Saturday to have my calories. Step three, choose your meal prep method. So, what's your meal prep method going to be? Is it you're going to pre-prep your ingredients? Are you going to chop all your vegetables up for your meals during the week? Are you going to pre-make some of your lighter meals? So perhaps your lunches, a few of your lunches, a few of your breakfasts. Or perhaps you're gonna meal prep in full, and perhaps you're gonna make your dinners ahead of dinner so you can just chuck it in the oven. Or you're gonna go for the convenience option and get some healthy meal prepped food that you can just pop in the oven or you can just pop into the pan and make life simple for yourself. Step four, I would like you to set your protein anchors. Now, this is a really vital thing when it comes to meal prepping and staying on track during the week. Decide what you're going to eat, what your main protein is going to be for each of your meals. So I would always recommend having a minimum of 30 grams of protein for breakfast, around 40-ish for lunch, and again about 40 for dinner. Again, your protein goals are very different based on the goal that you're wanting to achieve, and they're different for everybody. But as a guideline, I think that's a pretty fair rule of thumb. So let's say for breakfast, my protein anchor for breakfast is probably going to be Greek yogurt. And then for lunch, with protein powder in it, for lunch, my protein anchor is typically some form of fish. So let's say tomorrow it will be tuna to have a tuna salad, and then for dinner it might be that I have let's say salmon as my protein, and that would be my main element of my meal then. So that ensures that you're hitting your protein goals, and we know that the protein is really important on a weight loss journey because it's going to preserve your muscle mass. Um, and it's going to make you fitter and stronger. The more muscle mass you have, the more calories you burn even at resting. So protein is key. So the fifth thing I want you to try this week is to prep your easy meals and snacks Monday to Friday. So when I say easy meals, that might be like the overnight oats. It might be that you want to prep some snacks during the day. Make yourself some homemade protein balls or make yourself like pack it up some nuts into different portions so that you know how many nuts you should be eating, because we all know it's super easy to grab a handful of nuts and before you know it, you've eaten 300, 400, 500 calories of nuts. I know I can do it super easy. But if you actually put them into little pots, you know that that is your quota and it's an easy to reach snack. Perhaps you're going to boil some eggs, have them in the fridge, um, that you can quickly slice up and put them on a rice cracker, or just having those easy, quick, pre-prepped meals and snacks Monday to Friday. And step number six that I want you to do this week as well is that day that you've banked your calories for the high calorie day, go out and enjoy it. You don't need to worry too much. You don't need to have the guilt that you go out and you're drinking more, you're eating more, because you've allocated for that. You've worked hard for that and to enjoy it. And it's really important still, even if you are on a weight loss journey, even if you are looking yeah, to lose weight, it's really important to enjoy yourself doing it as well. Um, so are fried eggs good for you? Well, typically it depends what you fry them in. If you're deep frying them in oil, I wouldn't, and you're on in a calorie deficit, I would not go for that. But if you're frying them in, let's say, a non-stick pan and you've got some spray, that 1 cal spray, I don't think they're too bad. I would typically go for a poached egg or like a boiled egg, personally. So that in a nutshell is calorie banking and meal prep and food plan. So if anybody's got any questions or needs any help, would like any help working out their calories that they need to be eating in a deficit, or wants any more information on meal prep or calorie banking, give me a shout. I'm always here to help. And thank you so much for listening.